What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. And look, I know the temptation of over editing is here, and believe me, I have over edited my photos by a lot and multiple times. But let's be honest, the nicest photos you have seen out there, they are not over edited. They are thought through and intentionally taken. Now, I know it's not the case of all the photos, and it's not all the photos that you will actually think it through. Sometimes you will take a photo in the span of the moment, but most of the times the nicest photos you see out there, they are intentionally taken. And not only that, they are definitely not over edited. So that is what we're going to be talking about today in this video, because I think I have about 5 things that we can talk about that are for sure making your photos look bad. The first thing that I am pretty sure that you are doing your photos to make it look bad is over editing. And believe me, we all been there. Everyone that starts photography over edit their photos. Like the temptation for more contrast, more saturation, changing things that shouldn't be changed, changing colors, the sky's too blue, the green's too green. We've been there. We all have been there. Over editing is a normal problem that can be solved with you holding your hands a little bit. Don't go all crazy. Be subtle. Make changes intentionally. Look at a photo first. See if you have more highlights, more shadows, if you have colors that don't complement each other, and think it your photo through. That's the best way for you not to over edit. Just don't go crazy on it. Something I do to help me a lot and not over edit is use some presets. And I use presets as a base. I do have my own package. You will be helping me a lot if you go out the link and get something for yourself. But I use a lot of presets to give me a starting point for my edits, and it's actually very nice because you can just choose whatever preset you like and start tweaking from there. So you don't really have to build from the scratch, but I do also build from the scratch when I think the photo needed to be built from scratch. But most often than not, I use my presets to help me out to get to a point where I want to be and not over edit. I think horizon lines are kind of my pet peeve. Like, I cannot see a photo of a professional photographer or any photographer, even if you are a starter photographer, with a horizon line wonky. That should be the first thing that you should fix. Now, you don't actually have to have your horizon line straight out of camera. You can crop it, but yeah, if you can get it straight out of camera, that's great. But please make sure that your horizon line is correct, because that can actually destroy your photo. You might have a very good composition, you might have a very good shot, but if your horizon line is not straight, that's it. Your photo will look garbage for sure. Something that is oftentimes overlooked, especially for beginner photographers, is to misplace the subject. So when you're taking a photo, most of the time you have a main subject, and sometimes you have a secondary subject. So your job is to identify first what is your primary subject and what is your secondary subject. So if you have a primary subject and you want to make a shot, a composition shot where your subject is in the middle, please frame your subject in the middle. And then to have a nice composition, try to place your secondary subject into one of the intersection lines in your camera guide. It's easier, it's better, the composition is a lot better. And if you, for some reason, shot the photo and you didn't think it through, this is actually very easily fixable if you can crop it. Crop your photo. In this case, for example, I have a photo where I shot with the Alps castle in Germany with my wife. My main subject in here is the castle, and my wife is the secondary subject, and I will be placing her into one of the intersection lines. So what I do here is I go in and I'll crop it. Let's crop in a 4:3, which is the Instagram format, and let's place the castle in the middle. Once you do that, then you can just play around if you want a more sky or less sky, or if you want whatever that you want more in your photo. In this case, I want my photo a little bit lower, so I want to have the very nice leading line leading into the castle, and that's it. So otherwise, if I didn't crop it, the photo wouldn't look very good, the composition itself wouldn't be good. But with the very easy fix cropping, then it looks a lot better. This is for the perfectionists out there like myself. I am a huge perfectionist, and in some instances it's very good, in some others it can get in the way a bit. but remove distractions and anything that doesn't belong in the photo. Now, don't go crazy and remove everything, but if you see a photo, for example, this one where I shot in Switzerland with the Porsche in front of a hotel, the photo had a few tire marks that didn't really belong in that photo. It was a little bit distracting, and there was some rubbish also and some marks on the floor. So I removed them in Photoshop. I removed other bits and pieces in the photo just to make it clean and more visually appealing for people looking at it. Make sure that once you edit in your photos, you can remove the distractions. You can use a Lightroom for it. You can use Photoshop for it. Photoshop is amazing. That's what I use the most. But believe me, it makes a huge difference. And last but not least, and you probably have heard this a lot, but it's still a problem that I see. A lot of people come to me and say, Lucas, why your photos look so sharp, so good? I don't understand the colors. And first thing I ask, when did you go to take that photo? And most of the time the answer is 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock, whatever the time is. Was never shot at either sunrise or sunset. So if you don't want your photos to look bad, the best time you can actually take photos is at sunrise and at sunset. They have the most flattering, amazing light with pretty much no shadows, or at least not harsh ones that you don't want, and the colors just look amazing. Now I know it's very difficult to maybe wake up too early, or this spot might be unreachable after hours and maybe you're not going to be able to reach that place for sunset. Believe me, every time that you can, make yourself a favor and shoot in those times. Now, that doesn't mean the photo is not going to be looking good if you don't shoot at those times. It's just going to be looking maybe normal or just not contrasty at all because you don't have anything besides a harsh light shining into your subject or whatever you're shooting. So make sure that you can visit places that you want to photograph, or if it's a place where you can choose to shoot in either sunrise or sunset. If you want to choose and shoot in the middle of the day because you have no options, a few tips here. Look for shadows. Anytime that you see maybe a place that you can put your subject under or you can shoot from it, that will help you to soften up a little bit of that harsh shadow. And also you have opportunities here to play with the light, lightly coming through the windows or coming through the trees or coming through whatever. Make sure that you play with it because it's nice. And something else, I know it sounds a little bit obvious, but believe me, I see a lot of people doing it. Do never shoot against the sun. Never, ever, ever. Unless you want to go blind and burn your camera and all your photos, because that does not work. If you want to shoot against the light, shoot intentionally and still try to shoot a sunrise and sunset, but do never shoot against the sun ever, because that's just not going to work. So if you want to shoot in a harsh sunlight, just place your subject opposed to the sun and shoot in that direction. Shoot, let's say, with your back to the sun so you can photograph your subject. So make sure play around because it is a little bit more tricky. You will learn a lot though. You will learn a lot shooting in those conditions, but it is a lot more tricky and the editing can be a little bit more difficult if you do have a lot of highlights and shadows and things in between. So make sure to shoot in sunrise and sunset because that is just the best. And to be honest, for me, I love the quietude of sunrise, even though it is a pain to wake up in the morning super early, but it's just amazing. I know sometimes it's a little bit, annoying having to walk, 2-3 hours in the dark to reach a certain spot. But for me, every time I did it was super worth it. So I definitely recommend, if that is not in your natural way of thinking, start thinking that way, looking for those spots in those conditions. And thank you so much for watching. I do believe that some of those points are the reason your photos are looking bad. And if you want to know more about anything else involved in photography, let me know in the comments below. I'm also gonna be making a video about the settings in your camera and things that you should be looking out for when you're out shooting, so stay tuned for that one. But believe me, those mistakes, they're very, very easy to correct. You don't need a lot. You just need to be more intentional when shooting your photos, but they are not crazy difficult. So I really believe that if you start implementing those, your photos will look better a lot. There is a video on my channel about some of the basics that you should be looking out for. I'll link it somewhere here in the screen so you can check it out. But I want to say thank you so much for watching. I also want to say thank you once again for all the people that subscribe to the channel, for all the love and support. Thank you so much for all the kind words and nice messages. I really appreciate it. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, that's your chance. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any video, and let me know in the comments what you guys think about the tips. Is something that you're already doing, it's something that you're not doing, it's something you haven't thought about before. So let me know in the comments. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day doing whatever you're doing and being whatever you are. Thank you so much. Love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. And buy my preset pack. Peace.